Hi, I'm back. I'm going to talk to you on the second part of Israel, the cornerstone nation of all nations. Just to recap, I started with Genesis 1 from 1 to 5, how God created the heavens and the earth and how God established everything. And then I went to Genesis 2 verse 7 when God made man out of the dust. And then I started with Genesis 12 from 1 to 3 when God called Abram out of his family's house, out of the nation, to the land that he's going to show him. And then from Genesis 13 verse 14 to 18 when God separated him and his nephew Lot, because there was arguments between his herdsmen and Lot's herdsmen. And so when they separated, God spoke to Abraham and said, this land I want to give to you and your descendants. And then I went from there to Genesis 15 verse 12 to 21 when God made a covenant with Abraham using animals and using their blood. So now from Genesis 17 from 7 to 9. So that says, I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generation to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. The whole land of Canaan where you now reside as a foreigner, I'll give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God. So then from there, I'm going to go from Genesis 21, 1 to 3. And now the Lord was gracious to Sarah, as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah bore him. When his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him as God commanded him. When Abraham was 100 years old, when his son Isaac was born to him. So God is still keeping his promises. So old, having a child in Sarah, even in her age, she didn't believe that she could have a child, but only God can do that. So we go on to Genesis 26 from verse 1 to 5, and it says, now there was famine in the land beside the previous famine in Abraham's time, and Isaac went to Abimelech, the king of Philistines in Gerar. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you. I will bless you, for to you and your descendants I will give all these lands, and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. I will give them all these lands, and through your offsprings all nations of the earth will be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed me and did everything I require of him, keeping my covenant, my decrees and my instructions. So Isaac stayed in Gerar. You see how God is? He actually spoke to Abraham, promised him, even though it wasn't possible. I mean, he was so old, even Sarah was old. She was past the birth of giving birth. But God said to Abraham, your wife will have a child, a son. And through Isaac, your offsprings is going to come. It's going to be as numerous as the stars sky. So when God makes a promise, he makes a promise. He's not like human beings. We say something and we just change our mind. No, he made a promise and he kept that promise. So next time when we come back, I will go further into this. Thank you. Bye.